So I apologize for this video being in front of this bay window behind me, but my apartment's not completely set up yet, so I don't have a good place to record this, but I wanted to go ahead and record it. For those of you that are new here, every Wednesday I do a Writing Wednesday where I talk about some kind of topic relating to Wednesday. This is a newer thing that I'm doing, but I'm really loving it. This week's was supposed to, sorry I'm doing this a lot because I'm standing up for the first time doing one of these videos. Today's video was supposed to be about writer's block. Well, after I've been on Twitter today and seeing everything that's been happening with transgender people in the military, I decided that instead I needed to talk about something else that's been weighing on me, just to talk about, and I thought about putting it in a thread on Twitter, but instead I decided to do it here because this is the medium that I prefer, surprisingly, even though I don't like looking at myself on camera. It's weird. This is also very strange to be standing up while I'm doing this. So a lot of this may be just rambling because it's mostly just my thoughts on the matter. What I'm going to be talking about today is LGBT representation in YA books. Now recently it's been growing the amount of LGBT books that are being published, and that's great, and there are happy ones and sad ones, and I think every single one of them has their merit, and I think all kinds of teens need all kinds of different books that are LGBT because we like to see ourselves in books that we read, right? Like growing up as a teenager, which wasn't that long ago, I say growing up as a teenager, but it was like, I don't know, like 8-9 years ago, there wasn't a lot of LGBT books. So there was some, there was Hero, and a lot of David Levithan books were out. Well, not a lot, I don't know if it was a lot, but it was a good amount. So there was some LGBT books out. Now it's becoming more and more. There's tons more now. There is Simon versus the Homosexual Agenda. I keep trying to say Simon versus the Homo sapien agenda and keep saying homosexual agenda. We do have one. It's out there. The homosexual agenda is to take over everything. If you try coming at me saying I'm not a Simon fan because I keep getting the name wrong, you'd be wrong. Basically, I just really wanted to spread the homosexual agenda. So there is None of the Above, Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda, Last Seen Leaving, They Both Die at the End, More Happy Than Not, my 2 manuscripts that are on submission, right? Well, one of them's on submission, the other one's about to be on submission. I have lots of friends who have published works. There's John Corey Whaley, who has multiple books out. Classics like David Levithan, Proxy. There's One Man Guy, Boy Robot, The Love Interest, Carry On, I'll Give You the Sun, Aristotle and Dante, Rainbow Boys, Will Grayson, The Vast Fields of Extraordinary, Boyfriends with Girlfriends, Openly Straight. And I know a lot of these are gay books just because I am gay, is what I tend to gravitate towards with This Was Miseducation of Cameron Post. It's not like it's a secret. Georgia Peach is Another Forbidden Fruit, Leon the Offbeat, which I got the opportunity to read early because I was a sensitivity reader, Of Fire and Stars, Queer There and Everywhere, Forward Blue, Supermassive, Nina Rossing, who's the author of the last two, also has a book coming out called Mick and Michelle. There's just so many, but the thing is, there's still not enough, right? I mean, as you can notice, I probably didn't mention very many that had trans protagonists or lesbian protagonists, because I do feel like in the LGBT YA, what's being published is mostly gay protagonists, which is great. We need more of those, but we also need transgender, we also need lesbian, we also need questioning, we need all of the things. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think that these things are needed. As a teenager, I had really bad depression and anxiety, and I often found myself just feeling kind of empty, not even like sad, which people that experience depression might understand this, that sometimes you don't feel sad or down, you just feel nothing, like you feel like empty. This has actually gone into my young adulthood. I'm 25 now and depression is still a thing in my life, so I often turn to books. I am doing better. I often turn to books though, because I've turned to books in my early 20s, I'll turn, especially young adult, I'll turn to young adult books when I'm in my 50s, it doesn't matter, I'll always turn to young adult. So the reason why we need these books is because, like I said, I turned to these books, and I was the kind of teenager that needed the happiness in these books to know that even though my life as a depressed gay teen was my reality, doesn't mean it will always be this way. For instance, like the It Gets Better campaign, for me, just saying it was one thing, but reading it really helped me out. I saw there are these gay teens and these gay people, because I also read LGBT adult books, like Armistead Maupin, great author. But I read these to get a better sense of the fact that life wouldn't always be this way, it didn't have to be this way forever, and there was a way to work through it. Imagine you're a queer teen and you feel completely isolated from everyone. It doesn't matter if you know other queer people like I did, you still feel alone like I did. What people do when they feel alone is they often turn to other things like movies, TV shows, books, and unfortunately, LGBT representation in TV isn't much better. It isn't any better with things like Orange is the New Black, Degrassi. The fact that I'm blanking right now is exactly what I'm talking about. The fact that I couldn't remember my gay books when I can remember a million YA books that have straight people is part of why I wanted to make this video. So yeah, imagine you're alone and you turn to a book. If you are a straight person, you have lots of books to turn to. There are lots of YA books about straight people doing things. And this also goes for people of color. People of color also need books like Dear Martin and The Hate You Give, and just also lots of other books with people of color as the main characters. I can't think of any fantasy books off the top of my head except for maybe The Lunar Chronicles that has a main character who's a person of color, and I can't think of any fantasy ones either. I know they exist. I'm not saying they don't. What I'm saying is we need more of them. We need more people of color books. We need more LGBT books, especially in fantasy, science fiction, everything. As an LGBT person, and I'm sure people of color would say the same, is that we want to see ourselves everywhere, not just in real life. We want to see ourselves kicking a dragon, or falling in love with a vampire or a ghost, or flying a spaceship in outer space. We want to be everywhere, not just in real life. We use this as an escape the same way that straight people do. After what the He Who Shall Not Be Named, which I shouldn't even call him that because he's so horrible, I don't even want to refer to him as a Harry Potter character, but this freaking, what should I call him? Not even Mr. Person who's speaking in the White House. I won't say he's speaking for everyone in the White House because I'm hoping that's not true, although who knows anymore. But that's not the point of this video. The reason why I have to make this video is because today he said that transgender people, well, he tweeted, because that's his thing, that's his trademark. He tweeted that transgender people will no longer be allowed in the military, which, first of all, girl, bye, whatever, okay? But that's besides the point. Saying that it saves money and saying all that stuff is insane. I don't want this to become a political video where I just talk about the politics. I want to talk about the YA aspect and why we need more. This is why. Right? What he said today is not acceptable. And there are lots of LGBT people out there, especially trans people, who see the things he does and say, and they take that to heart. And trans people, especially today, need all the love they can get. I mean on this day in particular. All days, but this day in particular, because today they were told that they weren't worth it. And they are. All trans people, all LGBT, people of color, everyone's worth it. We should all just love each other on the same level because we're all worth it. But today's about trans people. And to tell them that they're not worth it, first of all, it's disgusting and despicable. I'm just trying to think of a way that we can support them. And I think one of the ways is to show them that we care and that we want to spend money on books that have trans people, and TV shows that have trans people, and all kinds of things like that. And my problem with LGBT YA right now is I'm sure they exist. I'm sure there are books with trans people, but there aren't enough. There are never going to be the same amount of LGBT books out as there are straight books. It's just there's so many. Like I can show you. Majority of these books, straight people. Majority of those books, straight people. Majority of those books, straight people. Also, if you're wondering, those are on the floor because I haven't bought bookshelves yet because I'm a broke millennial. I'm not diminishing the fact that some straight people might have mental health disorders and need help, because that is also true, and they also need to turn to books. But the thing is that they have so many options where LGBT people and trans people in particular do not. I bet there is a good handful of role models out there for trans people, but imagine if you liked pizza, but you could only choose 2 different options, right? I mean, not saying there's only 2, I'm not referring to trans people as food, and I'm not trying to say there are only 2 trans role models. What I'm saying is, if you only have 2 options, what kind of, I mean, you know, like, what if you don't like either option? Then you're just screwed? That's how it also feels with YA books. It's like, I read almost every gay YA book that comes out, or I try to at least, just because I feel like I don't have that many options. I feel like I maybe have like 25 LGBT books, and I think I've read all but like 5 of them. And sure, there are more being published now, there are more being sought out, but we always need more. Trans people always need more. Bisexual people always need more. Gay people always need more. Lesbians always need more. Questioning people always need more. I know I'm probably rambling a little bit, but I'm just really like passionate about this, and it's really just been bubbling under the surface, and I feel like I should have maybe written a script or something to talk about because it's all just bubbling out of me in a nonsense stream. The best way to get more LGBT books published is to show publishers that we want them. So if you want more LGBT books, go out and get them from libraries. Go out and support those authors and advertise those authors. Suggest the books to friends, buy their books, tweet them on Twitter and tell them how much it means to you so they can be seen, they can be known that they are appreciated for the work that they do. Support authors who support the LGBT community if you want to support the LGBT community. LGBT people want to be seen in books. Gay teens, lesbian teens, bisexual teens, transgender teens, questioning teens, they need to see that people care and that they're being represented in a way so they don't feel more alone in the world. Imagine if you just felt completely alone and empty like I did, and you have nothing to turn to. At least I had a couple that I knew about at the time. Imagine if you felt like you have nothing. What if you come from a small town who doesn't carry those kinds of books in a library, or you're from a country where they don't have those kind of books in the library and you can't buy those books because your parents don't want you to, or you're from a small town Same instance, if you're from a small town and your parents, if they were to catch you reading a book like that, they would kick you out or send you to a conversion. Or there are horrors faced every day by LGBT teens in particular, and books like these are needed. They are needed so that they can see themselves represented and loved in a way that they may not feel. All teens go through it where they don't feel loved, they don't feel wanted, and I'm not diminishing that for anyone. But LGBT people often need that reassurance that they are worth loving and worth representing and worth celebrating. If we don't help LGBT teens, and we don't write more books, and we don't make more TV, and we don't make more movies to help them and see themselves as people worth living and valuing in our community, then is everybody else even worth making these things for? I'm not trying to say that we should stop making straight books, but why should straight books get 50 books published every one? That's not a real statistic. I made that up for a point. The percentage of LGBT teens is rising every year, and so should the book and movie and TV industry and representation of those people. We need to accurately represent what society is. Underrepresentation of LGBT people and people of color is vast, and people want to say, oh, you should be happy, at least you're getting these books. And first of all, listen to what you just said and really let that sink in. And does that even sound right? No. The answer is no. And if you say yes, get out. Just nobody wants to hear anyway. Of course we're happy for the books that are published, but that doesn't mean we don't want more. I'm just rambling, and I know I'm rambling at this point, so I'm going to end this video on a couple of final notes. When I say queer and LGBT, and specifically say lesbian, gay, transgender, and bisexual, I do not leave out anyone else. I include, when I say LGBT, I include everyone. When I say queer, I include everyone. So demisexual, asexual, everything. I include everything, because every person matters. In the queer community, every person matters. When I say people of color, I mean everywhere around the world also. I mean Asia, Middle East, Africa, South America, even people of color in America. All people of color, all queer people, all matter. But trans people, today is your day. Don't let him get you down. You rejoice, and you know that there's so many people right now on Twitter talking about this and supporting you. I'm getting closer to the camera as I'm getting more angry. There are tons of people on Twitter supporting you and loving you and wanting you to know that you matter. Just look at the hashtags that are trending right now when this video goes up. Transgender people, you matter, and your books matter. And if you are a writer or an actor or a singer, any kind of, or painter or interpretive dancer, any trans artist at all, I want you to keep trying hard. I want you to not give up, and I want you to ever let anybody put you down, because you matter, your voices matter, your identities matter. Keep trying, keep succeeding, prove them wrong, prove him wrong. You are somebody to believe in, you are somebody who's going to succeed, and you are somebody who's just gonna blow us all out of the water. I mean, it's gonna happen. I mean, look at you, you're beautiful. And this goes for all people of color and queer people. Keep on succeeding, because I need more books about black people in space, and transgender people fighting dragons, and bisexual people conquering the world, and asexual people going on cute pizza dates, and just gay people just falling in love, and gay people altering history, because we're going to. Queer people, people of color, it's our time. Don't let him put you down. We are rising up, and we are going to change history. We're going to alter it, be through books and movies and songs and just every sort of art you can imagine. Is how you change the world. It's how you reach people. Maybe not some people, I'm sure he's never read a book in his life, but some people can be reached this way. And this is how we're gonna change history, by rising up, having a voice, having a legacy to leave behind, having books that matter to teens years and decades from now, having songs that your great grandkids listen to, having art that hangs in galleries, and movies that go in vaults to be preserved forever. I'm starting to get emotional, so I will probably end this video now, so I don't cry on camera. Because today is a happy day. Whether or not he wants it to be, no matter how hard he tries to bring us down, today is going to be a happy day. We are going to change history, and it starts with us. I don't know if any more of my Writing Wednesdays will be so rage-fueled or ranty about why we matter, because I feel like we shouldn't even have to defend why we matter. As human beings, we should just matter. I'm not gonna get into this again, or I'm gonna start yelling or crying, and it's not happening on camera. I'm not ranting anymore. But if you found this video interesting, go ahead and leave me a like or a comment below, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos of me just raging at the camera about LGBT people of color and how they're freaking oppressed, and it's like, what? Okay. Okay. So yeah. Also, if you can think of any great recommendations for people of color or queer books, go ahead and comment them below, because I would love to share them, probably on my Twitter or just everywhere on Facebook, because I want everyone to know that we exist and matter and deserve to be read and watched. Also, comment below if you have any good recommendations for queer or people of color movies and songs and paintings and artists and singers, because you know what? This is happening. This revolution of the oppressed is happening. So comment below. I want to share all of your great recommendations with people, and I will see you guys next week. I'm trying to get a picture for the thumbnail. I already dropped some books. This isn't all of them.